Well, good morning and bless you for sticking with us. This is K24 This Morning with me, Shiko Kaitani, welcoming you to another social hour. Our social media platforms are still the same at K24 TV on Instagram, Facebook, as well as X. Please take a look at our WhatsApp number at the bottom of your screen. We are always so glad to hear from you, receiving your feedback as well as your questions. Shiko Kaitani here with you, and I promise you today you're going to absolutely love our discussion. We're titling this one Addiction and the Role of the Family. And the reason that we are actually discussing this is obviously we've seen the rising cases, especially amongst the youth with whatever type of addiction. Specifically, you look at drugs and substance abuse, but there's so much to it. There's gambling, for example, that also is on the rise. And so as a family unit, what is the role on supporting or assisting that particular individual within the family unit to recovery? I know it's quite a challenge to confront that particular individual. It's also a challenge to be a support system to that individual. And that's why my guest is here today to speak more about it, because he really does have a passion for the family unit. In fact, he has a book out known as Fighting for the Family. I love it. Apostle Peter Wainaina joins us this morning. Apostle, karibu.
Asante, how are you?
I'm good. We always see you on the other side blessing people in Mount Kenya, giving a good word to the people of Kameme TV. Now you've brought the good stuff this
and
side.
Actually reaching out to the young people.
Right.
I really do take time with them once a month.
Yes.
Like a breakfast meeting to the young people that we see they're addicted.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, these are wonderful people that are just ensnared in a place they want to come out, and some cannot be able to. So it's my passion. It's
your passion.
Yes.
Thanks so much for making time this morning. And just as a point of information, when you talk to the experts, really these days, the professional terminology is using the type of addiction, so to speak, or whatever it is that someone has actually has been unable to break away from, and say that is a use disorder. So we're moving away from the terms of addiction. And so, for example, if it is drugs, it will be a substance use disorder. If it's gambling, it's a gambling use disorder. Just for the sake of terminologies. But anyway, now that this is a free conversation, we'll loosely use the term addiction, Apostle. And so let's start off with how stigma starts within the family. Usually some of them say the first person to judge me is my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister.
Of course, because they are the people that knows you from when you're very young. They have helped you to grow. They have always wished you well and hope that you become that what they could see when you're coming up. And now there's something that has come on the way, on the path to your destiny. They have seen a boy who become this and this, and of course, when they're growing up, sometimes you ask him, what do you want to become when you grow up? And there is something now that has come that is becoming a block. It's becoming a roadblock to the destiny of this young person. And of course it affects the parents in a big way. In a big way. And that's where the stigma starts. And now it's the other person now, you said we can use the word addicted. The young people that are addicted, they see like they are being judged. And of course there's a very thin line right there, because before you understand that this is a disorder, this is a kind of a sickness that my son is in, my daughter is in, there will be a conflict right there. But after some time you get to understand and you come and you're able to help them.
Well, in most cases you will notice obviously it is the children who are battling with whatever it may be. And now that we're not even necessarily being specific, but we know sana it must be drugs, alcohol abuse that's ongoing, right? But there's also the issue of parental addiction within the family unit. So sometimes it could be an issue that mom is having,
or dad is having.
But how does this really affect the family unit? What does it really do when you have an individual who is struggling?
It can bring a lot of loss to the family. This is somebody maybe who was even earning
Yeah.
Maybe it's a father or a mother who was doing his business or doing his job, and they start losing that earning. And you know, it brings a lot of problems in the family. Also, the issue of relationship, how we used to relate with this person, doesn't have that time, doesn't have the right. Now, we may not even be able to understand you and what you are saying.
Yeah.
It brings a lot of loss and a lot of problems in the family. Yes.
I can imagine. I don't know if you've, you know, with your interactions with individuals who have been through it and probably recovered, and they tell you what they actually put their families through. Did a lot of them talk to you about how they are deceitful?
Yes.
How they, you know, would always do what they need to do?
I know some who would even come and start to sell some things from the house.
Right.
So that they can get the money to gamble, get the money for the drug, you know, get the money for all this. They come with, they start taking things from the house and selling. Wow. I know one who did actually in Central Province. There is the Mabati houses we build. Yeah. Who did actually sold everything in the house and start getting Mabati one by one, taking it to the Chang'aa place, so that he can be given a glass of Chang'aa. That
is how far down
it can take you. So it affects your relationships in the family. Yeah. It affects your financial stability a lot, I can tell you. Yeah. I have seen a young man who was doing very well. He was in the matatu industry and fell into that. All of a sudden, things started going down. Financially. And after that, he was sleeping in the street. Yeah. In a place called Wangige. He was sleeping in the street. Somebody who had built himself a small, nice house, furnished the house. You know, these young people who are very bright and, you know. And though his case was different, he was going through something, and it put him to that. And I can tell you, it brought a lot of loss to this young man. Yes.
You know, it takes a lot, and I guess, you know, once parents or spouses start to understand what an individual is going through, it takes a toll or a lot for them to actually understand. Yes. But is it actually normal to have those feelings of betrayal as a mom, as a dad, or as a spouse? Do you feel, is it okay for me to feel betrayed by this individual? I mean, I gave you everything. I've taken you to school. I've clothed you. I've done all that. Yes. Then now, Peter, you become this?
Immediately, you come to learn about it, that my son or my husband or my dad is going through this. You feel that, and it is okay. We are human beings. You had expectation. You had expectation for this son. You had expectation for this daughter. You had expectation for your husband. You are actually even planning the future together, thinking of how you buy land and build a house, thinking even how maybe you relocate to abroad, or this kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, the man turns, or the son turns to something, or the daughter turns to something else. We are human beings. You feel betrayed, and it will take some time before you heal from that.
Right. Yes. But you see, the normal reaction, and now we've seen this a lot, is punishment, excommunication. You've seen cases of abandonment that happens, whereby you say, you know what, Peter, I'm done with you. Sasa wewe nimechoka na wewe, toka kwa hii nyumba. Is that really, at the end of the day, going to solve the issue when you cut off the individual who is dealing with whatever type of addiction?
I think that first comes when you don't know how to deal with it.
It's so the first, new, it's a quick reaction.
The first time is usually the first reaction. Trying to be harsh and tough to this person, and trying to show them that you have lost everything. You have actually lost me. I'm your father, but if this is the way you have chosen, you have actually lost me. You have lost our family. But I want to advise, as a Christian, it is not the wise way to go about it. You can win with love. I've seen many that have been won that way. You can win by listening and understanding that person, and looking for ways to help. Because according to me, this is a disease.
Right.
And if I cannot abandon my son because he got sick, I will not abandon him because he is into this.
Wow.
I will try to help this person and to walk with him.
And you see the way you're defining it as a disease, other people would define it as life choices. So
Yes.
niwe kujitakia.
Yes, but you know, it doesn't start with knowledge. It starts like, you know, like a game, like a talk with the young people, with your friends. It just starts like magical pets, you know, pocket monsters. You start small things and, you know, it really becomes a big problem. Yes.
So they don't see it coming. You're not aware of it when you start.
You're not aware of it when you start. I've talked to these young people.
And they say, honestly, I don't know how I got here.
I don't know how I got there. It's just as small. I have a story when I was young. I never went into it so deep, but I remember there was a time I almost got into it.
Yeah.
And it's just a start. It's very simple. I was a very serious church guy. And then our pastor then said there's no church on Christmas Day. And I joined a group of friends.
Yeah.
We went to a place called Kikuyu. There was a nice pump called Mustard Seed. And we went there, and me, I said, I'm saved. I'll just take soda.
Yeah.
And my friends were taking alcohol. And within a short time, I was given Red Bull.
Yeah.
And then I was told this is not good enough. They brought me Reds. There was something called Reds. I don't know. I remember it. Yeah. I don't know. Still, it is so sweet. It is the sweetest thing that I ever tasted. Right. It was so sweet. Yeah. And I took a lot of it. They were bringing six packs. My friends were bringing six packs.
Wow.
And by the time I woke up, I was drunk and staggering. And the first person I met is my neighbor. He said, is this Wainaina, the man who preaches for us?
Right.
And then the story went to the church.
Uh-oh.
And the stigma started there. I repented, and because I had not planned to do that, I even did not have an idea that Reds was actually alcoholic.
Right.
I did not read it was in
a can.
A can.
Yeah.
I did not read even the can. So when I went to church, the story had gone out.
It has gone viral.
Yes. So when I went to greet somebody, they praise Jesus, they just look at me like this. And they all couldn't say hi to me because I backslid or something.
According to them.
According to them. But I can tell you, yes, I never planned. You know what happened? I did not finish the service. I ran to where my friends were. Yeah. And they really welcomed me so well. Immediately, I ordered a bottle of Pilsner and
kazi kaendelea.
For the next about 3 years, I was, you know, I couldn't stop drinking. I would say, I'm not drinking again. I cry and I say, I'm going back to salvation. Then the following day, I'll meet a friend of mine. Kuja nikununulia moja. We would go, and only God came through for me.
Right.
Yeah.
That one is God.
It is God. I know it is God. And it was not actually very easy. It did not just come
overnight.
Yeah. Something happened that really made me being able to. God came through.
Wow.
So I really understand this young man. Okay, there are some who just are careless, but there are some who actually have fallen into it without knowing.
Wow.
It was not their choice.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's peer pressure, some friends that you're working with. Just start very small.
And so your story kind of reminds us that it's always good to check up.
Yes.
Check up on whoever you're mentoring, check up on whoever you're raising, or whoever is your loved one, because if you can actually see they're at that stage in life, it's always nice to just find out who, by the way, are your friends.
Yes.
Who are your peers? Because that's exactly what would happen. And so thanks for sharing that particular story. I think you've inspired someone this morning that, oh, by the way, I can overcome this.
Yeah, it's possible.
Let me ask my director if we're taking a short commercial break. Okay, in 5 minutes or so, Apostle, even as we get to that break, let me just engage you on one other point here, which is about those who are on the flip side and are acting as enablers to the one who's struggling, right?
Yeah.
Now, those who are kind of supporting that addiction indirectly, how do they do it?
by giving some money that they should not be giving. I've seen, and I'm sorry to quote, some parents, especially they are in abroad.
Yeah.
They are sending their sons some wave money and all that. You know wave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do know it.
And they are sending to their sons here.
Yes.
Without, there's no accountability, what you're doing with your money.
No report.
No
nothing.
report on what I sent you $100. What did you do with that money? There is no accountability.
Yeah.
Now, this is enabling, slowly, without you knowing. And now, also, not knowing who are you working with? My son, you are this. Who are your friends? There is an age you need even to know as a parent. Let me talk to as a parent, and it's your child who is, in this. You need to know why are you at this time? Why did you come at 11 last night? You got to know and answer some ask some questions.
Right.
So with that, we can't point at you that you are neighboring. Yeah. Yes.
And also, I like the fact that we're talking about parents checking up on their children.
Yes.
What about spouses checking up on each other? Because you find that perhaps, and let me use the example of the men in this particular case, who will find themselves getting deeper and deeper and deeper into gambling, and the wife is completely clueless.
Yes.
Like, you have no idea that your husband bets and bets on levels that are just insane.
This is because there is no accountability.
Right.
This brings us back to the issue of marriage. And I think marriage need to, I don't know when marriage should be defined again or what.
Right.
Because the way things are going, it's time people come together and know what you're bringing on the table, how much are you earning, how much am I earning, so that what I have, it belongs to the family and will be used for the family. But if there is no such kind of accountability, you'll find yourself falling into such traps like gatherings without knowing.
Yeah.
And you spend the money that would have helped the family.
Right. Even for women on the flip side, what really is so-called our addictions, retail therapy, so spending money on making yourself look prettier,
and the hair,
and the clothes, and the what, and I mean, we can definitely run up that card if we decide.
And it's also an addiction.
It's also an addiction, right? You just can't get enough of fixing yourself.
Yes,
as
I've
a woman.
seen people who are buy clothes and clothes and clothes, and they just wear once and then they.
But again, that's harming the family, because if money was supposed to be taking care of the household, we have a
school
problem.
Fees and all that. That's a big problem.
All right, Apostle, let's take that short commercial break. But of course, we're encouraging our viewers to interact with us through our social media platforms. By the way, if you'd like to DM me on the same, you can catch me on Instagram as @Shiko Kaitani, which is SHIKOKAITTANY. We'll see you in just a bit.